How you doing, guys? Welcome to WeTalkFilm.com. My name is Christmas Cow, and I am going to be reviewing or advising you of 5 of my favourite Christmas movies for you to watch at the end of this year. Okay, so stay tuned. I'll be back soon, and I've got a couple of surprise guests for you. Speak to you in a bit. Yo ho ho, and welcome back. Now, the first movie that I'm going to be talking to you tonight about is a guilty pleasure of mine. It is the 2003 classic Love Actually, starring just about every movie star on the earth. So many people in it. Now, it's a Christmas themed romantic comedy, and it's directed by a guy called Richard Curtis. Now, you've probably heard of him before. If you've not heard of him, I guarantee you've heard of some of his movies. You've got 4 Weddings and a Funeral, which is absolutely great. You've got the Bridget Jones movies, which, to be honest with you, I'm not going to talk about, but they're quite tremendous as well. And you've got Notting Hill, which is another guilty pleasure of mine, with the ever beautiful Juliet Roberts in there. And Juliet Roberts, I am hoping to get you in my stocking this year. That's right. Anyway, this ensemble cast, who does it include? It includes Hugh Grant. You've got Liam Neeson in there. You've got Colin Firth, Emma Thompson. I think you've got good old Billy Bob Thornton in there. You've got Keira Knightley. You've got Martine McCutcheon. And you've even got the great Rowan Atkinson. Now, what can I tell you about the movie? It's made up of loads of little different skits, as you put it, and they all intertwine into one. They're all linked together. At the end, you actually see how they're all linked, either by situation or by the characters in them. And by the end of the movie, it just goes to show that love is all around, people. Love is all around at Heathrow Airport. And if you watched it, you know exactly what I mean. However, that being said, as I said, it's a great movie. I absolutely love it. It is a guilty pleasure of mine, but please go and check it out. Let me know what you think. I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, welcome back. So, the next movie that I'm going to be talking to you about is the 1984, that's right, those of you that can remember 1984, I can't because I was born in 1991, but we'll have that conversation another time. But it's the 1984 classic, Gremlins. Now, this is actually a Christmas comedy horror, and it was directed by a guy called Chris Columbus. No, not the Chris Columbus that found America, or so they say. He's an actual director. He's the same director that actually made the Home Alone movies. And did you know that the executive producer for this movie was none other than the great Steven Spielberg? Now, what can I tell you about this movie? It's a Christmas movie about this guy that receives a gift, and he receives this little pet. The pet's called a mogwai, and he names it Gizmo. This cute little pet. However, there are certain rules that need to be followed in order for Gizmo to stay exactly how he is. And it is, you don't feed them after midnight, and you do not get them wet. Now, obviously, this happens, and they turn into little gremlins, and they go on a crazy spree, murdering everyone, killing everyone, basically making Christmas horrible for everyone. Now, it stars Zach Callaghan, I believe that's what his name is, Judge Reinhold, and you've also got Hoyt Aston in there. Great actors. To be honest, I don't know much more that they did after this movie, apart from Gremlins 2 as well. However, they are absolutely tremendous in there. I had a little toy when I was growing up, and it was one of the Gremlins called Spike, and he has a little white spike down the middle of his head, like I've got today. But don't laugh at that. We'll talk about that a little later as well. But anyway, as I said, Gremlins, 1984 movie. Check it out. Quick fun fact about it before I go. Did you know that in 1984 it was this movie and Indiana Jones, The Temple of Doom, because of the violence that was involved in it, this actually brought forward the PG-13 rating. But you didn't know that. Don't you ever go and say that Santa Claus don't give you some bit of new information, alright? Anyway, check it out, let me know what you think. Back soon when the reindeers have had something to eat. Third on my list is the 1990 classic which everybody loves. It's Home Alone, another Christmas family comedy movie. Now, this was actually once again directed by Chris Columbus, as previously mentioned, and it starred Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, John Hurd, and Catherine Charm, I believe that's how you say her name. Anyway, what can I tell you about this movie? Basically, 10-year-old boy gets left home alone. There's your title. The family, they go on holiday for Christmas and they basically forget him. So he's stuck at home, has to fend for himself, and it just so happens that two burglars, played by Pesci and by Daniel Stern, come to burgle the house. And loads of hijinks happen, a lot of violence happen, and basically the kid has to defend himself and look after the house for the family. Now this was tremendous. I remember when I was growing up and I watched this movie, I wanted to be Kevin McAllister, who is actually the name of the person that Macaulay Culkin plays. I wanted to do all of the stuff that he was doing. I wanted to set up all the traps. The only thing was, I didn't want any burglars to come to the house because I'd get scared. So don't ask me how I was going to make that work. But that's what I wanted anyway. There was also a sequel, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Let's guess what happened with that one. He got on the aeroplane this time, but he went to New York when the family went elsewhere. So he was lost in New York, where he bumped into the same two burglars again. And great fun was to have with that as well. Now, this was also starring the late, great John Candy. And he was only in it for one scene. And did you know that he came onto the set for one day, did his scene, and he had no lines. Everything was improvised. So everything you're seeing that John Candy does, he's just doing it off the top of his head. That just shows what a great actor he was. Anyway, everybody go and check out Home Alone if you haven't. I'm sure everybody's seen it by now, but it is a Christmas classic. Okay, welcome back. So, the fourth movie, which I'm going to be talking to you today about, is the 2003 movie. It is a Christmas comedy film. I'm sure we've all seen it. Starring Will Ferrell. It's called Elf. You're welcome. Okay, what can I say about the movie? Well, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I had not actually seen this movie until quite recently because I refused to watch it. I just thought, what the hell is this? I refused to watch it, didn't want to hear anything about it. Anyway, I was told to give it a try, which I did. And I don't know what to say about it. It is the craziest, stupidest movie I've ever seen. And I loved it. It was tremendous. I didn't even know what to say about it. It stars Will Ferrell, James Caan, and Zooey Deschanel, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And it's about this human that ends up being taken away by Santa back to the North Pole and is working with the elves until he finds out he's actually human and his father actually lives in New York City. So he goes back to New York to find him, and he is an elf out of time. Let's put it that way. But it's absolutely hilarious. Will Ferrell is at his utmost stupidity in this movie, and he nails it absolutely perfectly. Now, did you know that this was initially written for Jim Carrey? And I can understand why, because I think Jim Carrey would have done an excellent job with it as well. But Will Ferrell, absolutely tremendous. Now, it was directed by Jon Favreau. You know him as the director of the recent Lion King movie, the Jungle Book movie, and also Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2. And also a lot of the movie was actually unscripted. So when you see Will Ferrell just being his crazy self, that's just him naturally. But guys, go and check it out. I've only recently checked it out and I love it. It is absolutely stupid humour, but you will love it too. Okay, so the final movie which I'm going to be talking about today is the 2018 computer animated Christmas fantasy comedy, The Grinch. Now, it's a remake of the old school How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and Jim Carrey actually did a live version of this back in 2000, but I'm talking about the animated one that came out a few years ago. Absolutely love this movie. Now, it's based on the Dr. Seuss book, and it stars, the narration actually is done by Pharrell Williams, the musician, and it stars the voices of Benedict Cumberbatch, you've got Rashida Jones, you've got Kenan Thompson, those of you old school people will know him from Kenan and Kel, and you've also got the lovely Angela Lansbury, who to this day is still writing about murder and trying to kill people. But anyway, so what can I tell you about this movie? It's about the Grinch, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm a bit of a Grinch myself when it comes to Christmas. I'm not in it, no, okay? If you have any children around me, I'm going to tell them Santa is not real and that the parents are buying the gifts. I'm warning you, I'm the Grinch myself. But anyway, back to this. So the Grinch, he hates Christmas, like myself, and he lives at the top of a mountain, and down below him is a city called Whoville. And basically what he does is he torments them, takes all of their the Christmas presents and tries to steal Christmas away from them. He's got a really small heart, he's just not happy. However, as the movie goes on, it just shows the love that is given to him. Even though he's done some horrible stuff, his heart grows 3 times to the size that it actually was, and he just gives all the love back and gives all the presents back. It's great, okay? It's voiced really well. When I heard Benedict Cumberbatch was doing the voice, I weren't too sure, but hearing it and watching the movie, absolutely great. I love it. And I couldn't go through this list without putting some sort of animation on there, because really, I'm a big kid myself. So please, go and check it out. The Grinch, the computer animated classic from 2018. Enjoy. Okay, so it looks like we had a couple of surprise guests there, hey? I hope you like them. Anyway, those are my 5 favourite movies. Let me know what your 5 favourite movies are. Put them down in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to WeTalkFilm.com and have a holly molly Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.